Hi everyone, Tasha here from Stardust Gold Crochet. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I do crochet tutorials and stitch tutorials. Today's tutorial is the Lilac Dreams crochet coin purse. I used Scheepjes XL and a 4.5mm hook. This yarn is a little thick, but if you want to keep it so the purse has the same dimensions, make sure that the yarn you're using for this project has the same number of wraps per inch as the Scheepjes XL yarn, and I'll leave the wraps per inch down below in the description. This purse is really great. It's very soft and fluffy, and I really think you're going to enjoy this pattern. So let's get to it. To start off, we're going to do a foundation single crochet row, and we're going to do 13 of them. To do a foundation single crochet, you chain 2, insert your hook into the first chain, then yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the first loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Insert your hook into the bottom 2 chains, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2. And if I'm going too fast for you, feel free to pause the video or slow down just a little bit. We're going to do 13 of these foundation single crochets, and they just take a little bit of practice, but they create a chain and a single crochet all at the same time, which is really great. Alternatively, you can chain 14 to start. So here's my foundation single crochet so far, and here I have my 13. For row 2, we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to turn it and do a pineapple stitch in the very first stitch. That's yarning over, insert your hook into the stitch, pull up a loop, then you're going to yarn over again, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then you should have 5 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through the first 4 loops. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops to close out that stitch, and that is one pineapple stitch. So we're going to work 12 of those across. Again, you're yarning over once, pulling up, yarning over again, inserting your hook, grabbing that yarn and pulling up one more time, and then when you yarn over this time, you're just going to pull through the first 4 loops, and then you close out your stitch like normal. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to practice that stitch. When we get to the end of this row, we're going to do 1 double crochet into the very last stitch. So finishing out my last pineapple there, and then do 1 double crochet into this final stitch. And that completes our row 2. You want to count your stitches always and make sure you have the right number of pineapple stitches, and then 1 double crochet on the end. So for row 3, it starts off with a chain 1, turn it. This is going to be a little different. You're going to work into the back loop only of the first stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, but you're not going to do anything else. You're going to insert into the next stitch, pull up a loop, insert into the next stitch in the back loop only, and pull up. And you're going to do that across. This is a Tunisian crochet stitch called the Tunisian simple stitch. And I like to incorporate different kinds of stitches into my pattern, just because it's fun and I think it adds a little bit of flair. So keep working and pulling up your loops across. By the end, you should have 14 loops on your hook. That's my final stitch. So remember to count your loops, make sure you have the right number of loops on your hook. So to do a reverse pass, you're going to yarn over and pull through the first loop. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops at a time until you reach the beginning of the row again. And this is called a reverse pass. I slowed down the video so you guys could kind of get used to it. I really love Tunisian crochet, and I like to incorporate it into my patterns because it just is fun. You don't need a special kind of hook for this. You can use any kind of hook. So you just keep going down, pulling through 2 loops at a time until you get to the very end. And you'll have just 1 loop left on your hook. So that's the completion of row 3. For row 4, you don't turn it. We're going to work straight into the single crochet, but we are going to chain 1. So we're going to go through the bars into the hole that's in the center between the 2 stitches. You'll see right here, this hole right there. So you want to work into that hole between the 2 Tunisian simple stitch bars. It's not too hard to find if you just put your finger behind it and push your work out just a little bit. Work 1 last single crochet into the last stitch. Make sure you count your stitches. You should have 13 single crochet. For rows 5, 6, and 7, we're going to do a repeat of rows 2, 3, and 4. We work our pineapple stitches, and the row counts will be the same as rows 2, 3, and 4. So we do 12 pineapple stitches all the way across. In the last stitch, you work 1 double crochet, and then you'll have 12 pineapple stitches. 1, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and then work 1 double crochet in the very last stitch. And that completes row 5. Row 6 is a repeat of row 3, so we chain 1, turn it, do our simple stitch in the back loop only of each stitch across. Pause the video. And then we do our reverse pass, but make sure you have enough loops on your hook. The reverse pass, you chain 1 and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops at a time until you get back to the front. And that will complete our row 6. Row 7 we don't turn. We chain 1 and then work through the center bars of the stitches below and do 13 single crochet across. I hope you guys like the Tunisian simple stitch. It's fun. You work your single crochet, and that completes our row 7. So row 8, we're going to do decrease stitches for the rest of the pattern for rows 8, 9, and 10, and 11. So first we're going to chain 1, chain 2, turn. We're going to do a pineapple stitch, but we're not going to work in the first stitch. We're going to work it into the second stitch. And then we're going to crochet 10 pineapple stitches across. Pause the video and come back at the end of the row. But when we get to the end of the row, after you complete 10 pineapple stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, then we skip 1 stitch and do a half double crochet into the very last stitch of the row. And that completes our row with 10 pineapple stitches and 1/2 double crochet. So you should have 11 stitches total. The next row is row 10, and we're going to chain 1 and turn it. We're also going to skip a stitch on this row and work our Tunisian simple stitches into the back loop only of the second stitch and all the way across. 2, 3, then when we get to the end, we're going to skip 1 stitch after working 7 and work your last one. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches. To do the reverse pass, just like we did before, yarn over and pull through 1 loop, yarn over and pull through 2 each time until you get to the beginning of the row. And that will complete our row 9. And for row 10, we don't turn it, we just chain 1 and work our single crochet through the center of each stitch below. The Tunisian bars are pretty easy to find once you get used to it. And at the end of this row, you should have 9 single crochets. But always remember to count your stitches. So there we should have 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. The next row we're going to chain 2, turn it, and we're going to skip the first stitch and then work our pineapple stitches into the second stitch. And this is our final row. We're going to work 6 pineapple stitches across. When we reach the end, you should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, we're going to skip 1 stitch, and the final stitch will be a single crochet into the very last stitch. All right, that's complete. You can see that you stretch it out a little bit when you block it before you sew it, and it's about the approximate size too. So make 2 of those, and then we're going to attach the purse frame. And this is a very small tutorial on attaching the purse frame. These purse frames are going to be available on my website. I have several different colors, and so go check out my shop and you can purchase one of these to make your purse with. They're so beautiful. They're all different styles too, which is great. I love them. They're so cute. So go ahead and make 2 of these. You can decide which one you want to be the front and back, but you're going to place the 2 front sides together, sew it up, and then flip it inside out. I have a full tutorial on this on my YouTube channel called How to Attach a Purse Frame, but in this tutorial we're going to go over it very briefly. Make sure that your right sides are facing out when you sew the purse on and attach your frame. The first step, you're going to need a thread and some needle or yarn. I'm using a thread for this tutorial. You want to open up your frame and place your purse behind the frame. And where you're going to only work through the top piece of fabric. And we start in the right hand corner, working through the back first and then coming up through the front in the very first bottom hole. Like that, and then just pull it through. The second stitch is worked down through the second hole, and you're working from front to back and making sure that you go through the purse, the fabric. Then you work back through from the back to the front and come up through the first hole that you worked through, and that's going to secure it. And as you work down, you're going to come through the front and work up, stitching backwards and forwards. It's kind of like a running stitch. So you're working similar, very similar to a running stitch. In through the front, coming in and out and back through. And that's it. So you work those stitches all around. And when you want to do the other side, oh, also tuck these little pieces in. You can also use glue, but they tuck in fine, and then you can clip the back. So to do the second side, you push your purse through, turn it around, and then you're going to sew along just like you did. And that's it. Very simple tutorial, but check out the other tutorial, which is a lot more in depth and does both sides. And that completes our tutorial. Thank you everyone for being here. Please subscribe to my channel, and happy crocheting!